sure y'all hit that like button as you come on in, and also hit that subscribe button if you have not subscribed already. And also make sure you hit that notification bell on the right hand side. Remember, we do go live each and every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern time. Like always, thank you for tuning in to KR Culture Radio. Hakeem and Jordan, what's popping like it? What's cracking?
Chilling, chilling, family. What about you?
What's going on? What's going on, man? Good to be here. Another happy good Monday. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it.
Yeah, but go ahead, guys. Go, Jordan, go ahead, do your thing, man.
All right, what's going on, people? What's going on, people? Happy early 4th to you guys. We won't be seeing you guys tomorrow, so happy 4th of July to you guys. So we're gonna get into the topic, y'all. So this topic was very, very interesting. Because we the last topic we talked about was affirmative action, and then while looking at it, there was a bill that was passed in my home state of Michigan that went down. Of its Michigan House bill. Michigan House passed this bill that could make using wrong pronouns a felony or up to $10,000 worth of a fine. So under this new bill, intimidating an individual in regards to their gender identity can result in prison time or a $10,000 type of fine. So what I'm trying to say is, if you go to somebody in the LGBTQ community, especially the trans or that's in the non-binary, so if a person feels like, a person that says, you might see a man wearing a wig and, dressed up like a woman, and let's just say if you get their pronouns wrong, instead of calling him he wants to be a she. You can, if that's the case, you can get her, you can, like I said, you can throw in the jail or a $10,000 fine, just like that. That's how crazy this is in Michigan. This law just passed in Michigan. So this is, kind of something I think people should, really, really know about what's going on in these states, because this right here is like I said, this is it's really confusing, because with this, the non-binary suffer to with a non-binary, he or she, people are still kind of figuring out, people don't know, especially, millennials who are in the upper age, especially maybe lower millennials, Generation Z's, they get the concept. But there are some people, who's still new to this, and, if they feel like they say it wrong, they probably didn't meant to. If you live in the state of Michigan, you could possibly get to a fine up to $10,000, or, or go to jail. So this is how I'm not gonna say society is going to go, but this is what Michigan is standing on right now. So it just shows you what's going on in these certain, well, what's going on in the America, but what's going on in these certain states of laws that we're still trying to learn to figure out with the non-binary, but I don't think we're not all the way there. And to me, you push this law out, I don't think it should be wrong for somebody to pronounce it wrong, because they're still learning. They still learning this new thing, and also trying to get it right, because I think people they're trying not to get the name wrong, because they still trying to figure this out. I think people most people don't mean no harm to somebody if you mispronounce their names. They just try to figure it out. And really pushing this bill out, it's just like you're trying to wrong people of saying something that's wrong. They're still trying to figure out, but you're gonna put them in jail or possibly give them a fine. So we have a few videos to really speak about it, and after that we're gonna chop it right up. Go ahead, Hakeem.
Welcome back to CBS News Detroit at 5. I'm Jeff Skaversky.
I'm Shayna Humphreys. Courts in Michigan could soon be subjected to a new rule that requires the use of preferred pronouns in court proceedings.
Our Elle Myers takes us to the Michigan Supreme Court, where justices are considering the new requirement.
The Michigan Supreme Court is considering a new rule for courtrooms across our state, requiring the option for preferred pronouns in court proceedings. So what does that mean? If adopted, this new rule would compel judges and court officials to use they, them, or other pronouns if requested in court proceedings.
Pronouns are an essential part of someone's gender expression, and using them correctly demonstrates recognition and respect for that identity.
In fact, advocates for creating the rule tell me it comes down to basic dignity and respect in our courtrooms.
Transgender people don't feel welcome, don't feel comfortable in our courts, and they report being misgendered, being made fun of by court employees, and sometimes being mocked by judges. And they have less trust in the court system than they do with law enforcement. So that shows you that there's work that needs to be done.
But opponents tell me there are a couple factors that make a move like this unfair.
One of the founding principles of this country is free speech and free exercise of religion, and part of that is we just don't force people to say things that they disagree with.
Bloomfield tells me requiring the use of preferred pronouns could violate religious beliefs and could be confusing when it comes to court transcripts.
Right? It might make sense in a courtroom as you're speaking, but when you have an attorney reviewing the written transcript, is the attorney referring to a single person or to multiple, say, defendants or plaintiffs? And that can be very confusing when you're looking back at a court record.
For the moment, there isn't an exact timeline for when a decision could be made on this matter, but we'll keep you posted. For now, reporting from Lansing, I'm Elle Myers, CBS News, Detroit.
And it passed 59-50. It is not yet law, but I guarantee, we will see if this passes. I'm not so sure that it will, but maybe. I mean, it's Michigan. You got, I think Whitmer's still there, right? You will see people arrested for this. And you know why I have absolute confidence in saying that? Because Jordan Peterson warned us, how many was it, 7 or 8 years ago? And then in Canada, we have seen several instances where people have been criminally charged for using wrong pronouns.
I imagine this violates some sort of free First Amendment issue. Like, you can't tell me what I can and can't say to you. That's my right to say whatever I want. There might be, I'm not saying that the person's not going to throw a punch if I anger them and then they'll go to jail or whatever, but that's like the essence of this nation.
The Supreme Court ruled on 303 Creative, this Christian web designer who said, under Colorado's anti-discrimination laws, I feel as though I would be compelled to make wedding websites for same-sex couples if they approach me about it, and I don't think that's fair. And one of the things that came up in the decision today was the justices wrote, Colorado, under the interpretation of the law Colorado currently has, they would compel this woman into speech that she doesn't agree with. And so it's kind of similar to what you're saying. I wonder if in some way there is already legal precedent that, this is Michigan, so they can't necessarily take Colorado law, but if we have federal law that says you can't compel speech, like at what point do you prioritize the First Amendment? Maybe they would invalidate
what
it.
they're saying with this is that I'm pretty sure the bill is specifically about in the act of committing a crime if you do this thing. It's what do they call it?
Like a hate crime thing?
It's a hate crime thing, but it's I forgot what it's called in law when they add on to the crime because of a thing you did. I forgot what I can't think of it right now. Yeah.
Like a secondary offense, I think, is what they call it. Like you can't get pulled over
enhancement
for
or something
but
like
once
that.
you get pulled over, they
I mean, it's bad. It's a bad precedent, but I think it was Nuance Bro who was talking. He's like, it's kind of comparable to the lynching bill. It's like, well, lynching's already illegal. It's already illegal to harass people. It's already illegal to do these things in this bill.
To make someone feel terrorized.
Yeah, that's not up to me. The way you feel is the way you choose to feel. My words are not making you feel anything. I'm making noise, and then you are interpreting that and making yourself feel a certain way.
We will see someone arrested for this.
Yeah, me. I'm probably going to get arrested for this. I'm going to yell at Governor Whitmer and call her a boy and go to jail.
You can't go to Michigan anymore.
No.
They'll say that you were right-wing terror and all that stuff.
Can you get arrested for it, or is it just an additional charge that you would get, or it makes the charge more severe if you're also misgendering them?
Like,
I think this in and of itself is a hate crime, to make someone feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened.
By misgendering them.
Well, in any way. It literally, I don't think it specifies.
To make someone feel afraid, is that what it says?
Intimidate means willful course of conduct involving repeated or continuing harassment of another individual that would cause a reasonable individual to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened, and that actually causes the victim to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened. Intimidate does not include constitutionally protected activity or conduct that serves a legitimate purpose.
Well, constitutional protected activity is calling a man a woman.
That's right.
But apparently not.
No, it is.
You would think.
So that will be up for the courts, but we are marching in the direction. So look, Jordan Peterson, this was his big thing. Was it Bill C-16 or whatever it was back in the day? He was like, what's the next thing? He's like, people go to jail for this. They all mocked him and they said, you're lying. They were like, Dr. Peterson, the penalty is a fine. And then he goes, and what happens if you don't pay the fine? And then everyone's like, you go to jail. And he's like, oh, so what did I say that was wrong? And then sure enough, we've seen it. There was like one guy who wouldn't call his daughter male pronouns, so they arrested him or something like that.
What?
Up in Canada?
Oh, well, I didn't
let me see
that.
if let me see if I find
We
that.
had a member one night that was afraid to say anything bad about Trudeau because he was a Canadian. And he's like, I can't, like, you guys can make the jokes, but I won't make any jokes here on your after show.
Danny Polishuk doesn't even make that money Trudeau jokes, and he's
2021.
He's like
2021. Father arrested for discussing child's gender transition in defiance of court order.
I mean,
you know,
why would a
teenager was born female, and he was kept referring to her with the look at this. Look at the New York Post wrote, referring to his teen daughter, referring to him with the pronouns she and her, born female. Okay, New York Post. He was found in contempt of court and arrested Tuesday for calling the teen his daughter and publicly referring to him with the pronouns she and her. The teenager was born as a female.
And that's in Canada?
Yep.
Well, that's already happening here, though. In California,
Yeah.
they want it to be child abuse if you don't affirm your child's
Exactly. I'm telling you, it is
gender.
coming.
Everybody got really mad at Target for the tuck-friendly bathing suit, but then when you really looked at it, their marketing VP was giving $2.1 million to Glisten, which actually is a corporation that helps kids transition behind their parents' back.
But
so they really are. I mean,
Yeah.
they're
not secretive about what they're
it's
supportive of.
out in the open.
They've been partnered with organizations like that for like over a decade, though. Target is one of the headline sponsors for New York City's Youth Pride and was one of the founding sponsors of New York City Youth Pride. So it wasn't just, I'm just surprised it took this long for people to realize
But I think
how
the
far their
narrative-
tentacles were reaching.
I think the narrative around pride in these organizations shifted over time. Like over the last decade, it went from being like, you're going to come out to your parents and they're not going to accept you and you need a chosen family who will embrace you and love you, to being like, you're going to tell your parents that you want to undergo medical intervention surgery to alter your sexual characteristics, and they're going to say no, and that's terrible, and you're going to have to look for
felony and be finable up to $10,000. The recently passed bill in Michigan could make it a felony to intimidate someone by intentionally using the wrong gender pronouns, according to some legal experts. Michigan State House of Representatives has passed Bill HB 4474, a piece of legislation that criminalizes causing someone to feel threatened by words. Under the new bill, offenders are guilty of a felony punishable by imprisonment for not more than 5 years or by a fine of not more than $10,000. Now, in the bill, intimidate means a willful course of conduct involving repeated or continuing harassment of another individual that would cause a reasonable individual to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened, and that actually causes the victim to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened. The bill specifically addresses sexual orientation and gender identity or expression as protected classes. Now, critics, of course, are accusing the bill of violating the First Amendment. Quote, make no mistake about it, those advocating for this legislation will wield these policies as a weapon capable of destroying conservative expression or viewpoints grounded in the sacred. So basically, conservatives feel like they should be able to attack anyone for their gender because it very clearly says feels threatened or any of that. So they want people to be what they want them to be. They want the, trans man to be a woman, even though they never talk about trans man. And they want the trans women to be men, and they will call them men and yell at them about being men and all kinds of other horrible things. And it should be okay. They should just get off scot-free for it. This isn't about, saying that they're not a woman, they're a man, and moving on with your life. No, this is consistent intimidation tactics. Now, State Rep Angela Riga said, the state of Michigan is now explicitly allowing the gender delusion issue to be used as a protected class. This opens up numerous issues when it comes to the courts and the continued weaponization of the system against conservatives. She continued, we saw similar concerns when they wanted to pass blocks on conversion therapy. It seems Dems just want to be in the business of telling people how to think. Wouldn't forcing teens into conversion therapy be telling them what to think? I'm just like, wouldn't telling people that they are a man when they're a trans woman and vice versa be telling people what to think? Isn't that how that works? Unless you're a conservative, where you think that people being who they want to be and how they want to be means the conservatives can't be who they want to be. We don't care about you being who you want to be. It's your bigoted, transphobic bullshit that's the issue. Just go about your life and nothing will be wrong. Don't be a fucking piece of shit towards people that are just minding their own business trying to live their lives. Okay?
Oh, you got that one. Okay, you can cancel that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So yeah, y'all. So this is what's going on in the state of Michigan, y'all. Hey, if you get the pronouns wrong, you're gonna get fined. You're gonna go to jail. I remember about 2 weeks ago when me and Hakeem we was talking about here in the state of California of you know you I think you will go to jail if you print if your child's in the grade school and if he chose to be an identity of a she or something non-binary, but if you tell your kid no, you're this, you can get take away from him for saying the wrong. So for not telling your son or daughter if he's a he or she, instead she can use her own pronouns she wants you as a kid. Now in Michigan, if you get it wrong, you're gonna go to jail. You're gonna get fined. So I'm passing to you, Ronnie. So what do you think about this topic? Do you think this law really is unfair to people that's not trying to get the pronouns wrong? Go ahead, Ronnie.
Yeah, I was reading about it today, and simple fact is coming into this topic today, I want to make sure I actually know exactly what I'm talking about. But when I'm reading it, it's pretty much stated that if anyone get the wrong pronouns wrong, that he pretty much able to go to prison for 5 years and also have to pay a fine for $10,000. Now, this right here number one goes against the First Amendment, which allows someone to have freedom of speech, meaning that you have to give someone the right to speak whatever they want to speak. Now, there is some fine lines when it comes to that, because at the same time you don't want to harass somebody. But the problem with these liberals today, they are creating laws that's going to pretty much destroy this country. And I think a lot of people not being aware of that, and I think a lot of people need to be out of office. What's going on in Michigan is at the end of the day is going to affect the whole United States, because people want to say, "Oh, okay, if that's the case, then let's create more laws. Let's create more laws. Let's create more laws." And then pretty soon there will be no more freedom of speech. So to me, I think it's a stupid bill. I think it should be thrown out, and I think they need to evaluate this bill, because at the same time it doesn't make any sense. Now, the person does have the right to be whoever you want to be. Even me, I have the right. One day I could be a man, one day I could be a woman. I have that right. However, when it comes to trying to go into someone else's privacy or someone else that's trying to evade the way they want to live their lives, that's why I say, hey, something is wrong. So I think this bill is just pretty much just dumb. And I can't even believe Michigan even passed a bill like that, but I think it needs to be reevaluated again, because it doesn't make any sense. But go ahead, I just want to know your take on that. But
I'm very conservative, and I'm conservative, but I've also have my own opinion about some things. And I think that we're starting to lose what makes this country very great: freedom of speech, freedom to practice what we want and do this. If somebody does not want to identify you as something, that's their prerogative. You do not have to stay there and take that. Forcing people to do things that they don't want to do is unconstitutional, and it goes against the rights of people. The Supreme Court just passed a bill where they say a business can discriminate you if you LGBTQ. So if you in here flamboyant, no, you don't have to come in here. I don't have a problem with that. Because you want to know why? I don't have a problem with Asians who don't want me to go in their businesses. I don't have a problem with Arabs who tell me to get out. I don't have a problem. I know where to take my money at. You feel me? You know me, the world is racist. We're very, very racist, and we're very bigoted. Until you start to understand that, but we should allow people to be who they are and not change them. Let them change themselves over time. And if they want to come accept us, we'll accept you. But if you don't want to accept me, I don't have to accept you. Go ahead.
For me, this is strange to me. I don't like how the society is going. I have major respect and love for the LGBTQ community. I really, really do. Meeting them in my life here in California to Michigan and very Florida. It was one time back in 2014, 2015, I celebrated Pride Month in one time in Florida. I was marching with them on Pride Month, and this was in Miami Beach. And just I just have respect for them as they have respect as they have respect for me. And majority of them I met, they just want to live their individual lives. They might experience some harassment here or there, like any other people would. But at the end of the day, they just want to live their lives, just be happy and do what they want to do. And I'm cool with that. Now, when it comes to this bill and how, he kind of is getting forced, they force you to make up your mind and say the right things. Or if you say the wrong things, you're going to go to jail, possibly 5 years, and they possibly be fined up. This is what I don't like, because I feel like you're forcing somebody, pushing the person, say, hey, you need to learn this real quick, or especially in a type of religion where they don't play that period or condone that, or who doesn't play with that period, who doesn't go about their lifestyles, and they feel like it's wrong, but you're supposed to feel like no, in this society, it's supposed to be right. I don't like that, especially somebody who's in religion who doesn't practice that. And they want to practice that in their own family. I'm cool with that, but I do not like how this bill is making people, forcing people to say the right things, make sure you get the pronouns right. Even though and some people don't even know about the pronouns. Some people just live in a rural area that not even in the news like that, whole watch TV like that. And then they go to certain towns and they see something, they say something that they've been saying for 30, 40 years, but if they get it wrong, especially in Michigan, there's a possibility you'll get locked up or get fined up. This bill is very, very dumb. I think there's other methods we could do to help, if somebody want to know to get the pronouns right, that's cool. But this type of bill it's just very, very wacky, It's definitely going to push some people out of Michigan who doesn't like this bill. You definitely lose some population if they see something like this, and they're not cool with it, or they try to learn, but they get it wrong. You push people out of state, they're gonna go to a different state, and it's just sad to see how they're really here in California. We talked about, and also here in Michigan, they're putting these bills down, especially people who are religion, and they don't mess with that type of stuff. But but until what the law is saying, it's like no, it's the opposite, and it's very disturbing to me. Go ahead, fellas.
No, but part of me think the LGBTQ community is not the one pushing it forward for these bills. It's these politicians trying to push forward these bills so they can get more of these LGBTQ community votes. That's all it is. It's about getting votes. It ain't have nothing to do with the rainbow community or them standing for them at all. Because I've been noticing that a lot. A lot of these LGBTQ community want to just be like regular normal people. They don't want to be different. They just want to be regular normal people and to be able to enjoy their lives. Now, the way that they're passing these type of bills is pretty much is to persuade people thinking, the election's coming up, I want these votes. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it makes no total sense how they trying to push forward these bills when at the end of the day, it's not really them the one trying to get these bills passed. It's just that they're just trying to do that just to persuade votes. And to me, if you ask me, I think it's working for their favor. Because the Democratic Party don't really care too much about the people, nor do the Republicans. At the same time, they just telling people, hey, election's coming. Look what we're doing for you. So at the end of the day, we expect you to vote for us again, to be right back in the house again, and to destroy these countries. I would say these people need to be voted out and get the right people in that's going to really serve the people. These people here are not serving the people. They're actually doing a lot of harm than good. Go ahead, Akim.
No, brother, I agree with you. And I also think you're creating more division when you're forcing people to do something that they don't want to. You have to gradually allow people to get to know one and want to accept a lifestyle that they're not accustomed to. Now you're talking about, and people, here's the misconception that a lot of people get. They think this is white Americans who have an issue with this. What about the Muslims? What about the Hindus? What about the Buddhists who do not accept this type of lifestyle? I know a lot of fundamental Muslims who do not accept this stuff, and they don't want this around their kids. They don't want it taught in their schools, and that doesn't mean that they're bigoted. They come from a certain way of religion. There's fundamental Christians who do not accept this stuff. Hardcore Baptist churches who do not accept this stuff. Now you're saying that you're passing a law saying that it is a crime for me to not call you a woman when you're a man. The more ramifications too, and you're going to see this within court cases. What if there's two or more assailants and they're both for men? Two men attacked each other. No, a man attacked a woman. What does that leave for the woman? What about the woman's identity? Ladies, you're starting not to have an identity anymore. My beloved brother posted up a short, which I am so, for the love of Christ, a lot of y'all need to go see the short. It needs to get more views, about Sydney Starr. She goes and says that you're not gay if you date a trans woman. Excuse me? We're living in a world where we're making the rules as we go along. This is problematic and it's propagandistic. Trust me on this. This is going to be more hate towards LGBTQ. This is going to start, you're going to start having certain states, certain governors saying, you're not forcing us to do this. North Carolina was not playing with y'all. They was not having that with the bathroom thing. They was not having that. When Trump was in office and he said that trans was not supposed to serve in the U.S. Army, you think he came up with that idea? Talk about the millions, talk about the people who donated that, who told him, we don't want this here. Go ahead, fellas.
Yeah, you're right about that, Ken. The thing is, I want to know, especially in the trans community, who are the people? To me, it's like there's people out there who could consult these things, like, or talk about these things. But I don't know if I believe Caitlyn Jenner, she's when she's talking about these type of issues, with stuff like this. I remember there was she was talking about, there was I don't know, we did a video about this. This was back, I can't remember what state it was, but there was it was a sorority house of sororities, and then there was a transgender woman who got into the sorority, and the thing is, it's like, but the women that was there, they was uncomfortable of that trans woman standing in the house, in the sorority house. So, and the thing is, it's like when when the trans woman was living there, he still had his package, and there were certain times that women were saying that his package will get hard. And a lot of women was super duper uncomfortable, very, very uncomfortable. And this was like on the news, I believe it's like on a month ago. And then Caitlyn Jenner, she talked about the situation. And the situation was, it's like, I don't feel comfortable of a transgender woman living in a sorority house, because, if a transgender still has his penis and everything, and even as far as women, that would make the women uncomfortable. That would definitely make that woman uncomfortable. And like I said, this was on news. And I just feel like I say, it's the government politicians really trying to push this agenda, and we're not hearing it from that trans community how they feel about this. I feel like they're still being quiet about it. They're not really saying anything. But the government, they try to push a different agenda so we can hate the transgender community, which I do not hate. And I don't like how the politicians is doing that, because if you keep pushing these different laws in these certain type of states, people was not gonna like the community anymore, because they feel like they got so much laws for them that kind of babies them in a way. And there's some laws for other groups. They feel like, hey, what about us? What about us? We need some of this too. And it's just really going to divide the country and really divide the states and everything. I think if they keep going up, there's certain states that really going to be hardcore with this, and other states are going to be soft with this.
See, Jabari made a comment. Jabari made a comment in chat about they don't have laws for black people. The problem is they do have laws for black people. Black people don't take advantage of the law. Prime example: the Civil Rights Bill is for black people. It's not for no other race but black people. But yet, black people don't take the opportunity and actually use that bill in full effect. Now you have other cultures and other races of people taking advantage of the Civil Rights Bill, which was made for blacks. It was made for blacks. That just on that note. And also, which is true, we could make more laws for black people, but my thing is, will black people continue to take effects of these laws like the other races of people and other community of people are doing? Now, the LGBTQ community, I'm not gonna lie, they're all one powerful community. They know when to come together and when to make things happen for them. Asian community, same thing. Jewish community, same thing. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. To me, I think black people need to take a note from these communities, and then we need to start coming together and really start getting laws and build paths for us. Because the situation that transpire right now in Michigan is a prime example. When people come together, things pretty much you can change anything, even the amendments, which is crazy. Go ahead, Akeem.
You said something right. I just want to piggyback on that. Let's also talk about we won't spend no money to fight for anything that has to do with us. The LGBTQ people, which there are a lot of them who have a lot of money, dump millions of dollars on promoting this propaganda piece. Millions of dollars. In San Francisco, in Atlanta, they're funding these groups to do this and that. Now, Sugar Bum, I want you to be careful how you talk to people in the comments, but I also want to state something on. I have family members that are LGBTQ. I'm very supportive of them. You feel me? Very supportive. I've stated this before that and I'm sad that this is why we live in a world where I have to give disclaimers, because I don't want nobody to think that we have any issues with LGBTQ people. If we had an editor, we'll hire them. If you was a cross-dresser, if you was that, your life is your life. You live the way you live. But even them would want to understand that you should not force anybody to accept you. You feel me? It has not to be pushed down to, okay, well then stop saying stuff to me. So the thing about it is that there's a propaganda piece that's going around that only more hatred. I didn't say anything to these. Oh man, the thing that we're noticing is now, before a lot of these things was going on, yes, you had your issues, just like there's issues with black folks that goes on. The LGBTQ people had some issues and people were attacking them. This is America. People attacking people every day. But there wasn't an immense sort of hatred that is going on now. And the more hatred that's coming on is the point that's telling people, you're going to respect us. We're going to put this on television. We're going to do this and we're going to do. These people are us. Hold on. All right, everybody. We're having a serious conversation. Let's not attack anybody. Let's be careful. Please, everybody, let's keep this friendly. This is something serious we're talking about. Sugar Bum, nobody's not going to attack you. So he says, and fellas, after I read this, go ahead. It says, remember, 20 years ago, people were getting their heads cut off on the news because of their race, religion. Now, pronouns, having they're the most hateful everything. Just hear me out. You are spot on. But you go ahead.
No, go ahead. You gonna finish?
Yeah. So you're spot on. So the thing about it is, we need to breed healthy conversation to get to a point where we can start to understand. I want people from the other side to understand there's people who have a right not to want to accept you. Leave them alone. Their space is here to be accepted. And that's America. That is America. There's private only clubs where you can invite the people who you want to invite. We have them all over Boston. Yo, there used to be, it's so funny. I had a unique experience where there was a Greek-only club. A Greek-only club. You know they have them. They have the Greek-only club for people who was from Greece. And this was cornered on the block. And it used to be a bunch of guys coming there. They'll smoke cigarettes and cigars. And I looked at them and I was like, but I tried to go in there and they stopped me at the door. They said, I want to. I say, hey, fam, you don't read the news? It's Greek only. Greek only. Why I'm imposing on their right to live in their freedom of expression. They want to be only around Greeks. And I shouldn't have an issue. But that's how America will program you too, to say that, hey, I can go anywhere I want. I can impose anything I want on you. You got to live the way I want you to live. If I want to piss in front of your house, I should be able to. Go ahead.
Yeah, Hakeem, a lot of people that's the ranks, they really do things like that. I mean, I see it a whole lot here and some crazy stuff here and that, like especially in the Hollywood area. They feel like they could do anything they want, especially some of these homeless people. They really think they could do whatever they want. They free at the highest well, and they do things that really surprised me or shocked me. But yeah, back to the topic, it's just. Yeah, I just don't like how it's just really, really dividing. I feel like, there's other options we can do. We can talk about, the problem that's going on in the LGBTQ community. Maybe have, more topics about it, or really, have the LGBT group also, talk about really push what's going on in our problems. And what's good and everything, because like I said earlier, I met a lot of gays, bisexuals, transgenders in my life, and really good people, and they just will just live how they want to be, and just have a happy life. What do you say?
Hey, listen.
Oh no, Jabari asked a question. Jabari asked a question at the bottom.
Okay. He said Jabari protection. Oh, what Jabari said? Hold on. It says it's hate everywhere. There's just protection for hate for every other culture and group in this country.
No, is that a question? Do you think the Civil Rights Bill has protected us against discrimination lately? That's the question you asked.
No, it hasn't, and it has never will be. But look how the country has been formed. You feel me? And that's a whole. And he has a very valid point. But Jessim Yard also said something too. He said, don't worry. They used to tell me the same thing when I walk into the ladies' locker room. Now it's all good. I just said I'm a female.
Wow.
How are we going to protect women if now I can just wake up one morning and say I'm a girl?
I have a story for you guys. This is back in the late of 2020, when the pandemic. And there was some spas, they were starting to open up, massages and spa service and everything. So there's one spa in the Weed Spa, which is, I think like 10 minutes away. There was a transgender who went in there and went to the ladies' locker room and got undressed, still had his, his thing out, and women was there, and also little girls was there too. And it was so much an uproar that, the people, the clients that was there, that was in the locker room, they went to the front desk and said, hey, I have a serious problem with this, this guy is transgender who has a pee out. I feel hella uncomfortable, and also my kids were seeing it too. And, and we got so much an uproar. Like a day later, it was like people was, protests around the building. About the certain situations, like how have a transgender there with which I believe transgenders should have their own bathrooms, but how can you have a transgender in a woman's locker room, and it's he's exposed to some women and little girls too, in which a lot of women are uncomfortable with that, and and how it's looking, it's gonna be more. You probably will see more situations out, especially with some of these laws kind of protecting. Really super duper protecting the transgenders and the pronouns, and especially for the women, they're gonna have a big problem with that. Especially, if they're there, like I said, there's a problem with the situation with trans. I think it's in another country with transgender women playing swimming. Transgender women are playing in certain sports and they're dominating the league, and some women has a problem with that. So I really feel like with how the situation is, like women's not going to have a voice like they are now, especially with this bill and also stuff that's coming up in the future as well. Go ahead, Ronnie.
But people forget to understand something. There's a lot of people within that community also are against what's going on when it comes to other states, how they allow certain things to be done when it comes to the LGBTQ community. So there's a lot of people that in that LGBT community don't stand for what they're doing. They're actually against that. All they want to be doing is be pretty much left alone and be really regular human beings. Because remember, at the end of the day, at one point, Black people was not in the same situation, but we kind of was when it came to the simple fact of having the respect of people respecting us, able to go places without saying, hey, Hakeem, mute your mic, without anything going pretty much far left. So that's where they learned this from. They're learning from us back in the days how we used to handle things. So that's what I'm saying. Like I would say, we gotta take a lesson from this and see what they're doing. Okay, they're doing things more in the political sense. So if Black people can understand that and get our political game really head on, a lot of things will go in our favor. Go ahead, George.
You're right about that, Ronnie. And people just really look is like, people that you see in the office politically, just check them out, look at their background. Check their background, what they did in the past. I think it's very, very important because it's always have a certain agenda that people is trying to push in the political offices. If it's in the local, state, and federal. How people really, really look at your people that you vote in for, really, really check your background because there might be some stuff that you might see that's not passed, but you're not looking at history and say, oh, he was doing this for the beginning. So people have their own agendas, and especially in these offices, and they will push it in its higher extent. They will definitely really, really push it. I'm just trying people just be careful and just watch out who you vote for in upcoming elections. Go ahead, Ron.
And this is a prime example. I always tell people, don't focus too much on the presidential election. Focus a lot on what's going on within your state. Because at the end of the day, you live there. You reside in there. President, I get that the concept where you want to have a good president. But remember, that's more deal with the corporation. But your state legislators, your state representative, your mayors, anything that's local, that's what you need to focus on because they are the one that's going to set the law and that's the one you got to abide by. See, I don't live in Michigan, but I feel sorry for the people that do live in Michigan because now they got to be careful because any words you use, you could go to prison for 5 years, not only that, but paying that $10,000 fine. So that's what I'm saying. People not focus on the state, they focus on anything else but instead of the state. Go ahead, Jordan.
And also here in my state of California, the law has been passed yet, but we talked about this a couple weeks ago about, if a child is in school and he identified as, if you mess up the pronouns wrong, so you told your child, you get your child taken away. So that just tells me and my wife, we have a child, male or a girl, and we feel that if you're a boy, you're a boy, you're a girl, you're a girl, and then you go to the school and and you feel. If the thing is, if the schools think like us as parents, we're not, telling our children properly what they are, but our household, we stand on what we stand, you can get our child taken away to the CPS because they feel like we're doing harm to our child, not really identify what the child is at an early age, which is, to me, that's crazy to me. And like I said, just really look out what these laws are passing out. That's why for us is that, Catch Coach Radio, we look at stuff like that. We're going to talk about it. California a couple weeks ago, now here in Michigan, we definitely just want to give you guys what's going on in these certain states because a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people, might not know information or might not necessarily do the research that they should, or there might be some national news that report on it on a national television or on certain social media sites. They really don't, really want to put it in a trend or don't want to talk about it. So for us, we make sure we want to do some deep. We out here at Catch Coach Radio, we deep dive and see what's really, really going on that people not necessarily talk about in certain situations, in certain states, or certain laws that people don't know about in certain states. states. We really want to let you guys know what's going on because this might be helpful information of what state you live in, what city you live in. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Sugar Bomb say, women have not lost any rights. The problem is, you guys, the women are losing their identity because then you have other men acting like women. It's making everything perverse. It's making the younger generation confused now because now they can't differentiate what is a man and what is a woman because now you have a man acting like a woman and you have a woman acting like a man. It's confusing society. Y'all have not lost any rights when it comes to the aspect of businesses or women rights. Y'all have rights, but the concept I get where Hakeem's coming from in the aspect of identity. Go ahead, Hakeem.
Brothers, y'all have wellly said and here's the thing, Sugar Plum, I understand where you're coming from. We have made tremendous strive on trying to America to accommodate women, but this is a bigger issue now. And I know you want to play the inclusive game, but the inclusive game is actually making you lose your rights. When a man who is born a man wants to identify as a woman, that means, what are you? What are you? If you're a biological woman or a cis woman, whatever, what are you? And when the government can tell us what to do with our kids, this is not a government anywhere. Now we're under a dictatorship. I want you to think about that. If you're a Christian, if you're Muslim, and you want to raise your kids the way you want to raise your kids, we can't help it. We come to this country. Thank you for allowing us to be here. Want to raise our kids still to hold some values that we bring from the old countries. Yes, we want them to identify as being American, not all this extra stuff. You see what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. Not all this extra stuff. Listen, we thank you for allowing us to come here, eat. You give us the best education for free. But the stuff about this, let us live conservative. Allow the people who live here to be conservative and want to raise their kids the way they are. And you know what I mean? This is the reason why a lot of people get confused. This one thing that the communities do that we should practice. When these communities get together, they'll pool their money together and they'll separate themselves from the whole town. They do that in Georgia all the time. It could be 7 and 8 houses. Hey, we want to become a new town. What they're doing here, and we want to control the district. What's wrong with that? They want to live a certain way. When the kid gets older, he can do what he wants to. But if your parents come from another country or they identify a certain way, you can't blame them or call them a bigot because America wants you to be a certain way. These are new way of thinking that they're presenting on us. Go ahead.
I'm gonna add on to you what you're saying, Hakeem. And to me, it's like, I think for me, I say officer, we respect from all people. Don't matter what race you are, what gender you are, whatever. We have respect for you. As you should have respect for us, what we're trying to do. And what I'm trying to say this is that, if there's some people don't respect somebody, but maybe not like the lifestyle you in, he should not be in trouble for that. Should not be in trouble for that. If a person will live that lifestyle, that's totally fine. And I feel like the person that lives that lifestyle should respect another person's lifestyle who's not gay, who's just straight, want to have a nuclear family. Respect that as well. And I feel like we can't lost respect for that. That's crazy. Go ahead.
No, but a lot of people said it's the government's fault. I don't really blame too much on the government. It's the people. Because the people are the one that's electing these officials, these politicians into office. We don't know how to vote correctly. We are voting based on our emotion instead of based on logic and fact. And people keep forgetting, the United States is a Christian nation. It is a Christian nation. They stand on the Bible. Rather you have freedom of religion, at the end of the day, if you go in the Constitution, if you look around it, it's pretty much Christian based. Which means they stand for whatever the Bible says. If the Bible says a man is a man and a woman is a woman, they stand for that. So by them going out of pocket for that, it's kind of showing you that the world itself has pretty much lost their mind. Go ahead, Hakeem.
I want to ask the ladies a question. Sherry Bryant, Sugar Bum, and whoever's in here. If you are a woman, which y'all are biological women, especially Sherry Bryant, because I don't know what Sugar Bum look like. She's just an icon. She's a thumbnail. Sherry Bryant, you are a feminine woman, which I am a man. I'm supposed to treat you like a woman. I don't know you. I don't have to know you. I'm going to open doors for you. If I see you in trouble, I'm going to rescue your rescue. I don't even care if you had a man or if you was married. As a man with masculine energy, I'm going to try to be to help you out. Now, I'm going somewhere with this. You have a grown man who puts on a wig, says, I'm a woman now, Sherry. Should I open the door for him as well? Or should I stop treating you like a woman? Because they say, this is a trans woman. I'm asking the question. If they say that she's a woman, what are you, Sherry? I know you a woman. Should I stop treating you like a woman and start opening doors for a person who consistently I can know can box as hard as me? Listen now. I'll identify you, but now I'm confused. Does chivalry apply to the trans man as well? Should I open doors? Hey.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
But where's your identity at?
Right.
Where's your identity getting lost? And listen here, I want to talk about something. I want to talk about something real serious. Hakeem, are you full of hate as a woman if you refuse to undress in front of a trans woman?
Damn.
You see? Listen, you know what I mean? We can talk about this in every single way. You know what I mean? Because there's another point I want to get to too. When we start to play these mind games, your confusion has nothing to do with women. This has a lot to do with women. I want to talk about something serious right now to you, because this pronoun stuff gonna go a whole different way. We already know the world is evil for the love of Christ. We're trying our best to do it. All I have to do is wake up one morning, I'm a woman today.
No, it's true.
Listen. I'm going to say this statement. I'm a woman today. I'm going into the women's bathroom. There's 2, 3 young kids walking in there. They're girls. I'm a woman today. I'm going to walk in there. While there's 3 little girls. Listen, looking the way I'm looking. Looking the way I'm looking. And they say, why you going? I'm a woman today. How many evil people are going to use this to their advantage to get what they want? Talk to me.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, can you knock right on the head on that?
No, you did. That's true.
Yeah.
How many?
And I know people have nieces and nephews, all those things. That wasn't. It plays a big part. But then now what they're doing now, because I seen it one time when I was in the hospital, they're now creating transgender bathrooms now. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, which should be the thing. If we talking about protecting women, this is gonna go left for y'all.
Yeah.
We bad enough got an issue with domestic violence. We're trying to curb that. That's a whole nother conversation that we need to get into. You feel me? But when we start to try to play these semantics with these names, who you think going to use it to their advantage? Evil men.
Yeah, I agree with that, King. We need transgender bathrooms, transgender locker rooms.
I got
a transgender league, either it's basketball, football, soccer. You know, make sure they have their own league, like the men's do and the women do, and in sports. You know, I think transgender, they really need to push that. So if they push that, that's a high level of what we know about, the transgender, which they have their own doing of life, everything. This trying to help us out to settle, putting us this bill and say, hey, you get pronoun wrong, you're going to jail, just like that. We got to pay a fine.
No, we're not doing it. Listen, you're going to have more and more issues where people who was okay with allowing certain things to go on and, hey, you could come in the store, get your stuff and go, going to say, hey, you can't come in here because I'm not going to call you a woman. I'm not doing that today. How many doctors are going to do that? How many lawyers who are conservative, who are fundamental Christians and fundamental Islamic people? We haven't even figured out this whole race thing here where we're still trying to work the kinks on that. This get passed so quick because this is more important. It's going to take us every day to work at this. It might not even be in our lifetime. We have a lot of things we need to work on. And this, the thing is, you cannot force us this. I don't even want to force.
Yeah, what she mean, the race thing? I'm trying to see what does she mean by that.
If she says she doesn't believe in race, hey, thank you for that. If you don't, then I'm with you too. Race is a concept.
It is.
It's a concept. We're all human beings. You know what I mean? People have biases and bigotry, and this how the world is. Listen, in China, do you think China accept gays? Or do you think China accepts?
Oh no! They get hung. In China, they get hung.
What about North Korea? How about North Korea? I know North Korea,
India,
North Korea, Saudi Arabia.
Listen, Saudi Arabia,
the Arab nation. Yeah, they don't play with that. And Russia, they do not play with that.
Listen, look what's so funny. The countries we are allied with are fundamental, do not accept homosexuality, but we try to impose that on African countries. Our powerful nations, no, we're not doing that. No, you can't come here and do it.
No. And I think also in Dubai, same thing. You can't do.
No.
You get hung.
Listen, in Morocco and places, the women are not allowed to walk in certain places without your hair even covered.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, the governments ain't walking over there. Try to go to Tunisia and do that.
What about Jamaica? Jamaicans don't play that too, right?
Oh, they start. No. I'm gonna be real with you. Jamaica's starting to lean over. They're starting to lean over now because America's applying pressure. Just hear me out.
Right now, a lot of these nations are hating America because of what America doing. Because America is allowing things to happen where they're. Remember, because when America is pretty much the powerhouse. Everybody look up to America when it comes to the things they're doing and also their laws. So when they're seeing that they're allowing certain things to get out of control, remember, people travel. So now they're coming to their nation trying to push that same agenda or that same law, and they ain't liking that.
Hey,
that's why a lot of nations are slipping ties away from America. Go ahead.
I want to say I love you, my brother. Just hear me out, because he's saying something that's 100%, which is the defining issue with this. We're going to be endlessly divided. What happens when we have transracial? It's coming.
Yeah, hey, I already seen it. I already seen it coming.
He's predicting.
I'm seeing the divide. I'm slowly seeing the divide right now.
He said
slowly.
We already had racial daughters there. The transhuman people are now going to be cats and birds. It will be never ending. This is insane. That's
well, you say humans now gonna be cats and birds. Well, I'm a bird.
No, he's telling the truth. Now we're going to start saying we're transracial. No, I'm transracial. Look, I heard something the other day. Somebody told me, which I didn't even listen. I had to get a young boy to explain to me. He said, "Oh, I'm sexually fluid." I said, "What?
What is that? What is? What?"
I said,
Sexually fluid means you don't know if you're. I mean, you're having sex with either male or female, but you don't know which one you like in a way. So that's what it means. That's what it means. I still don't get that, but whatever.
Just say you bisexual, homie. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Exactly.
That's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You do your thing.
The ish. There was a white man say he identifies as a black man.
And listen, are we going to stop him?
What about that one chick who got? What about that? Hey, what was that one chick that we thought she was a black woman, but she's a white lady? What was her name? What was her name? There you go.
He just said it. Listen. I was having a conversation with a Cuban guy a couple days ago. You know, we live in Florida. The guy said, a lot of people look at me and feel offensive when I say I identified as being black. I said, what? I said, for real? He said, yeah. I said, identified as being black. He said, my father is black. My mother was European. He said, he said, I'm from Cuba. And he said, when I tell people that I'm black, black people have an issue for it. We're coming to this. We're here now. We're here now. You want to play this game? Everybody want to play this game? We're here. We're here. Shout outs to Miss Mova. Hey E, shout outs to Mova. Shout outs to Mova.
Yeah, shout out to all the new subscribers. Shout out to Mova. No, that's not Mova, that's Mother. Shout out to Mother and shout out to the Voice by Venus, man. Shout out to you guys, man. Really do greatly appreciate it. Y'all got me smiling today. Go ahead.
So, and this is what the thing is too. Should we start? There's certain things we can accept, and certain things we have to really put things into context. When the guy told me, say I'm black, I'm like, okay, that could make sense. You from Cuba, which is a racially melting pot. You know what I mean? We know biracial kids kind of look Spanish. I said, okay, yeah, you could, yeah. But when we start to figure things out and say, if I'm got to determine if you're a man or a woman now, I have to think about this for a minute. Let's think about this. You know what I'm saying? Just like today, I say, I'm going to be a horse today. I'm going to go live in the bar and I'm going to say I'm a horse. Like, it's going to get weird.
Oh, my gosh. What's going on with society today? I don't get it. I think it's something in the water. It's got to be something in the water, something in the food, man. That's a true. Literally, you're going to have people walking around saying, I'm a bird man. Like, literally. Like, that shit crazy. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey man, my thought also is that where's the common sense, yo? Where is the common sense? You know, according to this bill, I do not like this bill. They need to throw it away. I think there's other things we could do better than just trying to force somebody. I do not like it. So, but this is society really cool going on, and the older we get, when we get in our 40s, and especially me, and then it's 10 years from now, I'm scared. I'm scared for America in the next 10 years from now. I'm scared. Go ahead, Hakeem.
You know, Jabbar said Ron is a bird. I'm not a bird. Well, I ain't gonna lie, I won't mind being an eagle, because an eagle can see far away. A bald eagle. Yeah, I'll be a bald eagle. Go ahead.
Yeah, so one thing is, this is going to start something, and we need to be careful of where this is going to grow into. That's all I'm going to tell people. Be careful what you ask for. Be careful.
And my final thoughts is, I think we as people need to be. I'm sorry, I just keep laughing because of what I keep saying. We as people, we need to be more aware of what's going on within society. We need to be smart on who we put into office and who we elect. And folks, it's very important to vote for your local and your federal politician, man. Like, real talk, they are the one that's creating these laws. They are the one that's making it difficult for you. And that's why it's so very important to make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell on the right-hand side. Remember, we do go live each and every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 o'clock each and time. Shout out to Kendall, shout out to Urban Noy, shout out to Jabari, shout out to Mother, shout out to Sugar Bomb, shout out to Voice by Venus. Make sure you subscribe to the Voice by Venus. Shout out to Motivating Venus, shout out to Ish, shout out to Just Hear Me Out, shout out to Mean Street, shout out to those that's watching us on Instagram, shout out to Sherry Bryan, shout out to all y'all that continue to watch us on a daily basis. We on our way to 1K subscribers. Also, remember, go in the community tab. In the community tab, there's the KI Culture Radio. You already know T-shirt, Prince Hakeem new book, Black Love. Come over here and support the platform because we on our way to 1K subscribers. Go ahead.
My name is Running Horse today. Running Horse. Running Horse.
Hey, remember, like Jordan said, make sure y'all enjoy your 4th of July. Have some fireworks. Have some barbecue on me. Make sure you send me a plate. Jabari, I'm waiting on my food, man. We over and out. Thank you for tuning in to KI Culture Radio. We over and out.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace, peace, peace.
Hey, I can't you have people dying. Yeah.